Hello everyone, in this lecture the topic, Theater of Absurd, is explained in detail with understandable examples, but if you are new to my channel then please like and subscribe the channel. Without wasting your time, let's start it. Theater of Absurd is a term used for a dramatic movement that emerged after World War II, which portrays the human condition as meaningless and absurd. What does it mean? Simply, it means that it is nothing but it refers to a style of theater that started after World War II. Basically, you can say, the dramatists who used to write dramas in the style of theater of absurd incorporated the quality of absurdism in their works. They used absurdism to express the meaninglessness and irrationality of human existence, and to challenge the traditional conventions of theater and society. Simply, if someone asks you that what a theater of absurd is, you should not be confused and just answer that the theater of the absurd is primarily a dramatic movement that emerged after World War II, but it's heavily influenced by existentialism. Simply, if you want to understand theater of absurd then you have to keep in mind these points about theater of absurd. The first point is nonsense dialogues and meaningless actions. What does it mean? Simply, by this point, it means that nonsense dialogue and meaningless actions are some of the characteristics of the theater of the absurd. They mean that the words and deeds of the characters do not follow any logic, reason, or purpose. Basically, they are often contradictory, repetitive, or irrelevant to the situation. Simply, they reflect the absurdity and meaninglessness of human existence, as well as the loss of communication and identity. For example, in Waiting for Godot, the characters engage in nonsensical conversations, such as arguing about hats, reciting incomprehensible passwords, or forgetting their names. They also perform meaningless actions, such as waiting for someone who never arrives, trying to hang themselves, or switching places. These dialogue and actions create a sense of confusion, frustration, and despair in the audience, as well as a sense of humor and irony. The second point is isolated characters trapped in hopeless situation. By this point it means that characters who are isolated trapped in hopeless situations are another characteristic of the theater of the absurd. Basically, it means that the characters have no meaningful relationships, no sense of belonging, and no escape from their predicaments. Actually, they are often victims of fate, authority, or their own irrationality. They reflect the existentialist view that human beings are alone and helpless in a hostile and absurd world. The next point is lack of meaning. By this point, it means that these kinds of plays often explore the idea that life has no inherent meaning or purpose. This can lead to feelings of alienation, despair, and a search for meaning in a meaningless world. Simply, the dramatists through these plays try to convey the message that life is meaningless and there is nothing in this meaningless world. Humor and darkness. By this point it means that absurdist plays can be both funny and disturbing. The humor often comes from the absurdity of the situation, while the darkness comes from the underlying sense of alienation and meaninglessness. Simply, you can say, absurdist plays depict the meaninglessness and absurdity of human existence, often through illogical, nonsensical, and contradictory situations, language, and characters. Basically, you can take the play, Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. Actually, this is the best example of theater of absurd. If you have read this play, you might have observed that there are two tramps who wait endlessly for a mysterious figure named Godot, who never arrives. They engage in repetitive and meaningless conversations, actions, and games to pass the time. The play has no plot, no climax, and no resolution. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this lecture, then please don't forget like and subscription to the channel. Thank you.